Horror chit-chats, shock and delight. With Mercy hide every creature's in sight. Ghoul talk, scream talk, chills to the max. Tune in now to Horror Chit-Chat.
Good afternoon, my spooky friends. Have a potato. Today, we are going to be talking about my spicy take about the Conjuring series. It is a very beloved series, and I genuinely wanted to love it, but for me, these movies never got under my skin. So let's talk about it. Before we get into my nitty-gritty issues with this series, let's talk about why this series works for so many people. The movies are very well made. We can't knock it there. They look great. They're polished, professional, and very easy to follow. The scares are clear. The rules are clear. Good and evil are clearly defined. I mean, you couldn't get more clear if you wanted to. They're also a great gateway horror movie to the classics where you could see possession films done properly. Okay, wait. We're supposed to be talking about why people like them. They're easily accessible. You can watch them with friends who don't normally like horror, and I honestly would recommend this series for people that aren't big horror fans, just because, well, they're not too scary. And honestly, all of this is not a bad thing, but the accessibility is also where my problems begin. The Conjuring movies feel less like Fear and more like a haunted house ride. The scares are very designed, so you could pinpoint all of them. There's a rhythm to them. Silence, build up, then bam, loud noise. And after a while, I'm just not scared anymore. I'm just waiting. It feels like the movie is telling me when to react instead of letting natural fear creep up in me, and this ruins the films for me. I don't feel scared with the movie. I feel like the movie is tapping me on the shoulder saying, okay, be scared now, Mercy. Another issue for me is that everything always turns out to be a demon. Every haunting, every presence, every mystery, once the movie says it's a demon, all the tension drains out for me. There's no ambiguity, there's no uncertainty, and there's no space for interpretation. When horror explains itself too clearly, it stops being scary. When you tell me exactly what I'm afraid of, I stop being afraid. And this is where I think this series gets super, super weak, and it's such a shame because it could be super good if they would have taken inspiration from the classics about the atmosphere a little bit. You know what I mean? Let that fear creep into you and everything that makes fear and horror movies fun, right? Now let's talk about the Warrens. In these movies, they are portrayed as untouchable heroes. They're always right, they're always morally correct, and anyone who doubts them is either ignorant or dangerous. And that makes me uncomfortable. Not because of faith, not because of religion, but because horror works best where authority is questioned. When characters are allowed to be wrong, when a belief is complicated, when fear doesn't come with a guaranteed moral safety net. The Conjuring doesn't want you to question anything, it wants you to blindly accept, and that removes tension for me. Not to mention, the real Ed and Lorraine were horrible, horrible people. Visually, the movies are gorgeous, but they're too clean. The houses feel very staged, the environments feel curated, and everything looks like a perfect haunted house exhibit. I like horror that feels dirty, messy, uncomfortable. It's making you question the realities of what you are watching, and it's pulling you into the story. I want to feel like I shouldn't be there. The Conjuring feels like prestige horror, not personal horror. Another thing that keeps me at arm's length is the emotional distance. The characters exist mainly just to be haunted, and that's pretty much it. We see bad things happen to them, but we don't sit with their trauma. We don't feel what they're going through. The fear is external, something attacks them. I prefer horror where fear is internal, where it seeps into relationships, where it lingers after the scare is over. Here, once the demon is gone, everything is neatly resolved, and that just doesn't stay with me. It's like the Stepford Wives version of possession movies in a way. Then there's the super expanded universe. Spin-offs, sequels, prequels. At some point, fear turns into a brand. Once horror becomes a release schedule, it stops feeling like a nightmare and it starts feeling like content. And I think the Conjuring series lost a lot of its power by stretching itself a little too thin. What I personally want from horror is ambiguity. I want atmosphere, I want discomfort, I want questions that don't have answers, I want the tingles crawling down my spine, I want to be fully immersed into the depths of the story. I want horror that trusts the audience, lets silence breathe, that follows me after the credits roll. I don't want to be reassured that evil is always defeated. I want horror that crawls under my skin and refuses to leave. So, yeah, these are all the bones that I have to pick with The Conjuring. How do you feel about this series? Did the Conjuring series scare you? Which one worked best for you? And what kind of horror actually gets under your skin? Let's talk about it in the comments down below. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Stay spooky and have a potato.
Thanks for being here. Don't go just yet. Check out the channel. More scares to get. Hit that like, stay weird, come back again.